What is going on again, everyone? As you can see in the studio, little bit different setup though. I'm filming this one on the Sony a7R II, which is why I have that Sony colored skin. Little bit different, going way back in the line. I know, the R2, right? That's because this is what I still use for my portrait work. It creates great images, and that's why I keep it around. But either way, we're talking of real estate gimbals today, and we're going to go over my favorite accessories. I know, if you've seen my channel, then you know I am Mr. Slider when it comes to real estate videos, but I do still use gimbals all the time. Sometimes you just can't get around the fact that you need a gimbal to provide one specific shot or a walkthrough style environment. So I'll talk about the accessories I use and why I love them so much. Let's go. All right, everyone. As I just said, we're talking about gimbals, and that's pretty painfully obvious by this whole rig setting up over here. As I mentioned before, I'm filming this on something different so you can see my exact rig that I film real estate with, because I do use the GH5S. People ask me all the time, in 2021, is the GH5S really still viable? And I say, yes, it has great low light capabilities, and that's basically all real estate videos are, dealing with dark places and trying to make them brighter. I actually have on order right now the FX3, so that way I can do an actual in-house comparison between the two images and really see the difference. But today we're going to be talking about my gimbal. I'll slide it on over in front of me for a second. How's that look? Boom, there you go. So this is it. I use the Webill-s personally. I know Webill just came out with a new version, the Webill 2. It looks really cool. If they want to send me one to try it out, I would love that. The cool little flip out screen seems to make the navigation way easier than this little panel down here on the bottom. If you can see it, it's kind of a pain to deal with. So I don't even hook my camera to the gimbal because it's, I don't know. I don't ever see the use in it for what I'm doing personally in real estate. So doing something else, obviously, maybe you would. But as I mentioned before, I use mainly sliders. I only break out the gimbal for certain situations. But either way, let's start talking about my actual accessories for the gimbal itself. As I mentioned, the GH5S. But what you can't see under this GH5S until I pop it off for you is my number one favorite accessory, and that's right here on the bottom, and that is the foul cam. Hold on, I'll grab the box. All right, got the box. It was sitting, whoa, it's all top heavy now that I took the camera off. So all right, I just got the box. Here it is, the foul cam. It is a quick release plate, and it uses the Arca Swiss technology, which is really nice. It works way better than the actual Zhyiun plate. I mount it straight to the plate. The issue I had before was that everything I mounted to it, I required the little spacer plate right here since we're using such wide angle lenses. And if you have this gimbal, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But with the foul cam, I've been able to eliminate that. This quick disconnect is so much smaller than the Manfrotto disconnect that I'm used to. So that's a big thing for me. And it's really solid. It's really easy to mess with. It has this little twist lock right here. I can show you that up close a little later if you're really interested, but it's kind of irrelevant. I'm just kind of going over all of my accessories. The foul cam, quick release. I love it because it's Arca Swiss compatible, so it fits on everything. I used to be a big Manfrotto guy, but I guess as time goes on, I've realized that they may have used to make the best stuff ever, but now everyone makes the best stuff ever, it seems. Like, I can't remember the last time I bought a piece of gear and I was seriously disappointed in it. Unless, of course, you've seen any of my Olympus customer support videos. And if you have not, check that out over there. But either way, on to the mix. What I like about it, simple push button, slip it right in there. There we go. It's connected. I always try and keep mine set so that way this is pretty much 100% balanced all the time, because this is the only setup I use on it. Use the GH5S with the 7 to 12 millimeter, 7 to 14 millimeter, sorry, Mzucchio lens. So that's what I use for photographing my interiors as well. So when I put it on my video camera, they match up pretty well. What I have noticed is that this lens is actually wider on this camera than it is on my Olympus EM5 Mark II. I don't know why that is, but it is. It's much wider when I put it on here, and I like that actually. Next accessory we're going to go to is right back here. This is the small grip handle accessory. It is sold separately. It comes with this tripod base right here on the bottom, and you can unscrew and rescrew that on the side in order to give you that vertical grip, that underslung technique. I'm sorry, that's what it's called, the underslung. But I leave this on, and I have bought the Small Rig Extra Adapter Handle. That's because it has a whole lot of mounting holes where I can put things, and it's fairly easy to get on and off. It's just a screw on the bottom of the screw. If I take it off, you will see that it has these two little holes in it right here, and those match up with the holes on the back right here. You can see where they go all the time. It's pretty much railed out right there. So what I do like about it is that it is very secure. Once it's on here, because of those two rigs, or because of those two pins, once it's on here, it's very, very secure. And it even has, if you look up close, it has these like holes where you can insert like an Allen wrench or something and give it an extra tight down. So it's like super tight. Very secure. That's what I like about it. It has an all rubber grip handle, which I do also really, really like. I had one of the wooden handles before, and even though it looks nice, it's not the most comfortable to use all day. The last thing I like about this handle is, if you can see right here, it has this little like notch, for lack of a better term. And that's, I like it because it sits right here. I don't know, let's flip it this way. My finger sits right in that notch, so it's a great place to move this thing around by. I really love this little notch. And lastly, I love everything up here. It has so many mounting holes. It has a place, I can't take it out right now because the monitor is physically on, but when I take the monitor off, but you can see right here, it actually stores its Allen wrench right inside of it. Now on the top of this goes my next favorite accessory, and that is my Small Rig quick on and off slider plate, and that is to get the monitor on and off without having to screw it. It has a little lock button right here on the back, or a lock lever, should I say. Unlock it. It has two different ways you could take it off. You could take it off to the left or the right. Each of them have different little safety precautions. One is right here on top and you push it down. One is right here on the side, and once again you push it down. Those are both the safety precautions for taking it on and off. Here is the quick disconnect. It's very, very simple. I like it because you can tighten it up and leave it at just the right tightness, so that way you can still move your monitor around. I can move it left or right. It's not a big deal, and it slides on very easily instead of having to screw it all on. Actually, now that I have this out, I can show you. Look at there, Allen wrench that stores right here in the handle of the Small Rig. Very, very handle. Very, very handle. Very, very handy. Slide it right back in there, and it's all magnetic. So when it's in there, it is in there. That's how I mounted this top rail to it. If you can see right here, it's mounted to the two little holes right here on the top of the actual Small Rig arm. And to slide this guy in is very, very simple. I just push this button down right here and slide it in. Once it's in, it can't gum out no matter what because it has the 2 points on either side. Come on over here, lock it down in place, and now it's not going anywhere. Now, I hate to continue on the Small Rig kick, but that's also the HDMI to HDMI I use is a Small Rig. I used to use, plug this guy right on in like that. I used to use one of the flexi cords, but I feel like it always created this like tension on the gimbal itself, and it seemed to give me these micro jitters I couldn't get rid of. And I noticed when I switched to one of these cables that a lot of those went away. So I'm not saying that's directly the cause of it, but I personally noticed a difference when I changed to a standard straight cable over one of those flexi cord cables. So that's just something to keep in mind. The last thing I want to talk about, which is not Small Rig, believe it or not, is my super cheap monitor. I go with the Feel World, and that's because I throw everything in my bag. I use one of the Peak Design bags. All of this, my slider, all of my video gear fits in there, and it gets kind of beat up every once in a while. This is a great monitor. It's not touchscreen. It doesn't have any storage in it. It's just visual components. But what I like about it is it's super cheap. I want to say it was under $100 when I bought it. I'm not quite sure what the price is right now. It uses a bunch of standard different batteries, so you probably already have a battery that fits it. It has multiple mounting holes. It has the 3-way ratio. I can turn it on for you real quick, and you can just see through the back of the screen what I'm talking about. That's its load up. So far, this has been my favorite screen just because of how cheap it is. Look, so, I mean, I love it. You can also connect it to an external power port, like if you wanted to mount something down here or down further on the rig, so you didn't have all the battery weight right here. But realistically, it's not heavy at all. Like I said, this is what I use for all of my real estate work. This is exactly what my gimbal looks like when I pull it out of my bag and walk into the house. I guess that's about it. I'm not going to talk about settings or anything like that because there are tons of videos out there that talk about settings. I might make one later, but this is just about the accessories that I use. I will try and link everything down below if you're curious, but that's it. Those are kind of like my favorite little accessories for my Webill-s gimbal for real estate videography. As always, that's the whole video. If you like the information I presented and the way I presented it, press like, mash subscribe, all that jazz. I'll catch y'all next time.